River Edge Mayor and Council for Monday, January 27, 2014, the 8 o'clock meeting. If we could all stand for a moment of silent prayer or reflection. If we could all remember Attorney Fred Heisenbuttel, who was the former prosecutor and public defender in the borough several years ago, who was deceased on December 30th. Could Councilwoman Bastide lead us in a salute to the flag?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, the New Jersey Open Public Meetings Law was enacted to ensure the right of the public to have advance notice of and attend any meetings of public bodies in which any business affecting their interest is discussed or acted upon. In accordance with this law, the Mayor and Council of the Borough of River Edge have caused notice of this meeting to be published by having the date, time, and place posted in the Borough Hall, and notices were sent in December to the Record and the Ridgewood News. The mission of our governing body is to provide essential services through the establishment and implementation of public policy that will safeguard our infrastructure, provide courteous, honest, and professional services, thereby establishing a sense of trust and accomplishment with our taxpayers. We do this through research and prudent planning, seeking to minimize risk while improving municipal services. We are always sensitive to the needs of our taxpayers while realizing that this governing body cannot be all things to all people due to the revenue constraints that have been imposed by state mandates, present economic condition, and prevailing attitudes about taxation. We are on the record both by video and audio during the public portion of the meeting. If any member of the public wishes to speak, they only give us their name and address, and they can be heard. If they want to be seen on the videotape, they can approach the microphone. We have three fire exits in council chambers, 2 to the front and 1 to the rear. Can I have a roll call, please, Madam Clerk?
Councilwoman Murphy.
Here.
Councilman Coppola.
Here.
Councilwoman Bastide.
Here.
Councilman Jones.
Here.
Councilman Acrofreda.
Present.
Councilman Papaleo.
Here.
And Mayor Mastrobuono.
Present. Can I have a motion to approve the minutes of the Mayor and Council sine die meeting of January 1, 2014?
So moved.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed, any abstained? Can I have a motion to approve the minutes of the Mayor and Council reorganization meeting for January 1, 2014?
So moved.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, we have a proclamation for Catholic Schools Week. Is there someone in the audience to... Very good. What's that your name, sir?
Jim McCarthy.
How are you?
Good.
And who do we have here?
You guys did buffet or what?
Tyler, please raise. And Julia.
Okay. Here's the proclamation. Whereas the St. Peter Academy plays an important role in our community by furnishing our leaders of tomorrow with basic human, moral, and spiritual foundations. Whereas St. Peter strengthens the community and the nation by keeping viable the right of freedom of religion under law, and whereas St. Peter's is intended to fulfill the threefold purpose of message, community, and service. Whereas the National Catholic Educational Association has declared the week of January 26th to February 1st, 2014 as Catholic Schools Week in the United States, with their theme this year being Catholic Schools, Communities of Faith, Knowledge, and Service. Now therefore be it resolved that the Mayor and Council, in recognition of Catholic Schools Week, do hereby proclaim January 26th to February 1st as Catholic Schools Week in the Borough of River Edge. Congratulations.
Don't go away, guys. They have to take a picture. Back where we were.
There you go.
the teachers.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you very much. Normally, we have... Finding up the right school.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
And I put these all done.
Yeah.
I need to look at
Membership has privileges.
Huh?
Delayed gratification.
You need like a sugar rush to get you through the rest of the meeting?
Same here. Is the chief here?
Yep.
Is Sergeant Faustini? No?
I reached out to him today and I wasn't able to get hold
Do you want us to reschedule it? Do you want to accept the plaque in his,
I'll accept it.
on his behalf? All right. I'd like to present a plaque to retiring police officer Gary Faustini. Sergeant Faustini gave us 30 years of faithful service on behalf of the borough. Chief, I'd like to accept this plaque on behalf of Sergeant Faustini. Thank you, Mayor. Let me just read in the record what it says. Presented to Gary Faustini, Sergeant, upon your retirement, distinguished 30 years of service to the Woodbridge Police Department, founding member and commander of the Honor Guard, in recognition of your dedication to the protection and the safety of the residents, with our gratitude and appreciation. Thank you, Mayor. Okay. Now, pursuant to our new bylaws, we're going to, I'm going to entertain a motion to open the meeting to the public on any issue that's on the agenda tonight. Have a motion?
So moved. Second.
Motion and second, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, is there anyone in the public who would like to speak or ask a question regarding any issue on the agenda? This is a new thing that we started under the new bylaws for this year, where instead of conducting all official business and voting on everything, and then after it's all a done deal, giving people an opportunity to speak, we give you an opportunity to speak before we make a final decision, which is a better way to do things. Seeing no one, I'd like to have a motion to close
So moved.
the meeting
Second.
for agenda items. Motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, we're going to open the meeting back up again for
So
any
moved.
issue.
So moved.
We have appointments and personnel changes this evening. One is to approve a salary increase for our technical assistants in the building department, Nicole Schaffner, from a step 1 to a step 2. Do I have a motion for that?
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, to approve the salary increase for Tom Smith, OEM coordinator, from a step 1 to a step 2, effective January 21st.
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
To approve an increase for Arthur DeRosa from a probationary rate to a step 1 rate, effective January 21st, 2014.
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
We'll let the record reflect both, I don't see Nicole, but I see Tom Smith here, and Artie DeRosa, our code enforcement officer, is here. Artie, you want to raise your hand? You're doing a good job so far.
So far?
So far.
Keep them honest.
All right. To approve the transfer of John Malvey from police crossing guard to police dispatcher, effective January 13th. Can I have a motion?
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, to approve the appointment of Joseph Donahue as the alternate public defender at an hourly rate of $85, not to exceed 4 hours, retroactive to 1/1/2014.
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
To approve the appointment of Carlo Robosio of Wayne Avenue as alternate number 1 on the Rec Commission effective January 21st.
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. To approve the reappointment of Michelle Austin as the zoning board attorney effective January 1, 2014.
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
To approve the salary change of Patrolman Sanchez from a salary of $37,142 to $45,101 due to the police officer 18th grade.
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
To approve the change of salary to Patrolman Anthony Roman due to patrol officer 18th grade.
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
To approve salary change of patrol officer Daniel Lee due to patrol officer 2nd grade effective February 3rd, 2014.
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
To approve the appointment of Elaine Icavone, it looks like,
Icavone.
Icavone, of Woodland Avenue to the Traffic and Safety Committee.
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Is Elaine here?
No.
Okay, she signed her oath already, very good. To approve the retirement of Denise Don Diego, the borough clerk, effective May 1, 2014.
I'm voting no.
All voting no.
I have to finish my
There's no
term out.
motion, we can't approve it.
Oh, my God.
Can we pull that for a separate vote?
I'm just getting nervous.
I'll reluctantly move that. Yes, I'm saying no.
Please pass that.
To approve the salary change of Judith Vabrowski, library page, from $7.25 to $8.25 due to the change in the minimum wage.
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
To approve the salary change of Emily DeMallo Milk, library page, due to the change in the hourly minimum wage.
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And to approve the salary change of Mary O'Donnell, library page, due to the change in the minimum hourly wage.
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
To approve the hire of Jill Davidson as library technical assistant at an hourly rate of $11 an hour for no more than 18 hours per week.
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye. Second.
Okay.
What did we do for Denise?
I said
Because I heard
I
reluctantly.
said reluctantly move that we approve.
I will reluctantly second it.
I'm going to still remain a no.
I don't know, nobody made the motion.
No.
I know, Ed did.
I made a motion,
Yeah.
you seconded it?
I reluctantly, extremely reluctantly, but
All right.
we have to respect.
Do I have to have a roll call? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, aye, aye. All right, there are notices and letters and correspondence that are listed on the agenda that are available for reading by any member of the public should they wish to, by going to the Borough Clerk's office. In addition, there are monthly reports from our property maintenance for December. Thank you, Mr. DeRosa, from our library board, from our fire prevention, from our building department, from our tax collector, all for December 2013, that are also available. Tonight, we have a public hearing on open space, recreation, farmland, and historic preservation trust fund allocation of monies. And I see that there are people in the audience that are interested in this subject, so could I have a motion to open it to the public?
So moved. Okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. All right. If anybody would like to speak on this year's open space funds? All right, who had their hand up first? Bobby.
I'm Cindy Sherlock, Chairman of Recreation Commission, along with Bobby McDonald, our Director. Conway.
I've been with you too long.
And we have other commissioners. We have Jim T. and Val Duran. Okay.
All right, I know we have our Shade Tree Commission is represented, our Beautification Committee is represented, 9/11 is represented. Any other organizations? Is Historic represented here this evening? No? Okay. All right, Bobby?
Okay, thank you very much. First of all, I wanted to thank the Mayor and Council for the funding that we received last year. 2013 Open Space Funds allowed us to maintain the parks and the fields. Also, the installation of the Strike Guard lightning detection system, which is up and running. The installation of safety netting at the Little League fields for the protection of the spectators and also those on the pathway, and also the refurbishing of our park signs. And so we want to thank you for those funds from last year. Moving on to 2014, in your folder in front of you, each of you have a folder with your name on it. If you would like to open up to the first page, which gives a listing of the open space request, I'll follow along with that. Behind that listing is all the backup information that you need for the request. At any time you want to stop me to ask questions, please do so. I'll just keep moving along until someone stops me. The first item is park maintenance, and that would be for the wood fiber surface for the playgrounds and picnic area. That's 2 loads for a total of $4,816. Miscellaneous repair supplies, that would be anything from main lock, changing locks, supplies that we need from polymers, and that total is $3,000. So the park maintenance amount totals $7,816. The field maintenance, the spring field startup for the 7 fields, that would be for edging, putting down the clay, setting it up for our spring softball and baseball. That totals $4,920. The bean clay is 3 loads, $1,800 approximately each load, and that would be also for the 7 fields, $5,751. The sprinkler system at Little League and KBG, we have a spring setup and also the winterization plus any repairs during the year at a total of $3,200 estimate. So field maintenance total is $13,871. I'm going to go on to the projects. The first project is the KBG lights replacement, and your second page after the open space trust fund gives a description of what I'll go through, talking about the KBG lights as they exist. Right now we have lights that are over 29 years old. They are direct burial. The controls are in the central room, which requires an employee to monitor the lights. There are 9 light poles. They are 90 feet high. There are 81 1,000 watt bulbs, 81. 13 are out right now. We turned the lights on last Monday. There are 13 lights out. In 2006, we replaced all those lights for a total of $30,000. Again, right now 13 are out. In 2011, we replaced 10 fixtures for a total of $3,000, and then wire repair for $2,500. Again, the 13 that are still out right now is a concern. KBG Field is used by men's softball, women's softball, Regal softball, baseball, junior football, and soccer. You have behind this list here that I'm speaking from an illumination test that was done on KBG softball field and baseball field, and those tests show that the foot candles are way below standard. One other fact on those lights is it costs us about $12,500 per year to turn those lights on between April and October. That's what we have. What we would like and what we're proposing is a replacement of Musco lighting. We would put in 8 poles. It would be 41 lights. You have a green system that is much more economical than what we have now. 50% less operating cost, 50% light spillage, 100% maintenance free for 25 years. That's 100% maintenance free for 25 years. Control is through a website, performance monitoring system, and again, there's a guarantee that there's a consistent light level for 25 years of 50-foot candles in the infield and 30 in the outfield. If you look at your numbers on the illumination test that was done at KBG right now, we're way below those numbers. The projected estimated life cycle operating cost savings would be $157,295. That's an estimate over a 25-year period. The actual cost of installing and supplying this equipment is between $260,000 and $285,000. That's $10,000 more than last year's estimate. This is the third year we've been requesting this project. It's $10,000 more than last year's estimate. Okay, so what the total project is $325,000. That includes soil borings, which are going to be between $7,500 and $10,000. Now, last year we did receive $36,363 in open space towards the project. The balance, therefore, is $288,637. I'm going to move on. Any more questions? Okay. The second item on our projects is a sprinkler system at Memorial Park. This is basically for the garden area. We do not have a water source in Memorial Park. We do not have sprinklers in Memorial Park. If you look at your pictures that are attached to in your packet, but also are up here, you can see in 2007 when the park garden was installed, we have greenery, we have plants, we have trees. The majority of those have died because we don't have a watering system. On the other side over here, which you also have in your packet, are pictures of the existing. We've lost a lot of plants, a lot of trees, because they have not been watered. The other concern is that our next project is to renovate a portion of the garden area and put in additional benches and so forth, which I will explain. But we can't plant anything without water. We have no water source. So the water system that we're looking at is an installation of a water line, which will come down from Continental into the garden area, sprinkler systems, 3 zones, 18 heads, not 18 heads, there's about 12 heads, and then a hose bib that will be, for the future, we can add on a sprinkler system for the north, besides what we have where we're going to put it in the new garden area. Okay, so basically that's what we're looking for, is a new water line and sprinkler system. Questions?
How often have you planted and replanted as a result of not having the sprinkler system?
We have not replanted.
Oh, you have not?
Not replanted, no. As a matter of fact, last year we did ask for some funding for the planting, but we don't have the water source. There's no reason to plant.
So you haven't replaced anything that you've...
We have not.
You have a quote here from Pacific Lawn Sprinklers.
Yes.
Where are they? It says here they're based out of College Point, New York. Do they have a Bergen County or New Jersey?
Yes, they have a Bergen County representative that met and went through the layout of the park.
Now, we have some local companies that do sprinklers. Why wouldn't we try to approach a local business?
We can. This is just an estimate. We would go out for 3 quotes. Okay. Should I move along? Okay, the next area is the Memorial Park garden area itself. In 2007, when we constructed this garden, we put in 7 benches, Victoria Stanley benches. Then we brought in the Memorial Park program, where loved ones could memorialize and dedicate a park bench with a plaque for one of their loved ones. And we dedicated all 7, and we have 3 requests for 3 additional benches. What we would like to do is renovate the area that is now the horseshoe pits, which is located here. Actually, it's in your packet as well, a horseshoe pit area, and put in a 3 seating areas with 6 benches, pathway, plantings, and a meandering pathway, and a few trees. So that's the next project, which is the $16,570, and that would be all-inclusive with the stamped concrete pads and the benches.
I have a question regarding that. So, you have a quote only from one company,
Yes.
and you also have them quoted for the field maintenance as well, $4,920
Yes,
from the Frontier. Is this something that you would go and get 3 quotes?
absolutely.
'Cause that-
We always do, you know anything, yeah.
Well, pieced out here, everything's under the bid threshold.
The field maintenance would be under the quote threshold.
Quote threshold.
Right.
Yeah.
The-
But all this other stuff adds up to...
Sure, well, we would get 3 quotes. Yeah, this is just basically for estimate, for going forth with the project. The conceptual plan is an estimate as well. And then once, you know, if the funding is approved, then we go out for 3 quotes. And we take a look at it. So, yes, okay. Next item is the resealing of the picnic area. The picnic area, again, you have this in your packet, the stamped concrete that was put in 2005. This is the original picture of the stamped concrete, and as you can see in your pictures as well, the color, the tone is that as a rock look. This is what it looks like now, because it needs to be resealed. In 2005 it was installed. In 2009 we did reseal it. Every 4 years it should be resealed. We're in our 5th year, and once the sealing is placed on, not only does it preserve it, but it also brings the color back and the look of stone. And again, it's preventative, and it's for the future. And that code is 4012. The next item is the handball court perimeter, and again, the pictures are in your packet. The existing perimeter is asphalt. It is cracked, and as you can see in these pictures and also in your packet, that we do have areas that are open because of the cracking, and we do have puddling. The whole perimeter to replace the whole thing is $9,500. Again, that's an estimate. We would go out for quotes if we went through with this. The next item is the Cherry Blossom Park, Phase 1. We did apply for a Bergen County open space for $52,000, and the item here is for the match of that grant. We did apply for that, the application itself stated a part of it would be capital, part of it would be open space, but at the time of the contract that decision would be made. That's why the $26,000/52. It's either $26,000 or $52,000 from open space, depending on what the mayor and council determined to do, whether it's capital or open space. The total then without the KBG lights and the grant match would be $59,283. Okay?
Bobby, can you just because maybe I'm tired or a little foggy, explain to me the 2652 again?
Well, the match is $52,000. The application was for $52,000, and it's a 100% match. So that the match from the borough would be $52,000.
Okay.
In our application to the borough, to the Bergen County, the statement was stated that the match would be either from capital, half from capital, and half from River Edge open space, but to be determined at the time of the contract, which probably is going to be in May if we do get this grant.
Okay.
So you left it open that part of it could be capital, part could be open space match.
Okay.
And just to clear up the handball court, all you're talking about is the perimeter of that?
Perimeter, yes.
There's nothing with the concrete?
Concrete's not that bad, it's concrete's fine. It's just the perimeter around it.
Would they reseal that concrete too, or does that need to be done?
I'll play it.
I don't think the resealing on that contract, concrete has to be, no.
Like
So
they
once you
work in the
reseal it,
county?
then you're going to have to seal it again. The concrete's not in bad shape, it's just the perimeter. It's the asphalt that's cracked.
How would you propose to replace the asphalt? How would the asphalt be replaced? What would the asphalt be replaced with?
Asphalt. Yeah, it would be milled, removed, and replaced with asphalt.
So lightweight concrete would not work?
You know what, the contractor had just
Looking at
suggested...
longevity. I mean, the contractor is looking at coming back in 4 to 5 years and deja vu all over again, as someone else said before me.
That's an option. We just thought we'd replace as is, but actually, we could take a look at the concrete.
I think, yeah, we should have an option, and then within our limited resources, at least we have the options and the pros and the cons of each option.
I'm not really sure what the price now of concrete versus
It's
asphalt
okay.
is
Let
right
them,
now.
whoever you're consulting to establish your budget, let them do the legwork. With regards to the lights, have you had any conversation, and I'm asking this question because Moscow Lighting is arguably the leader in designing, furnishing, and installing lights in public fields or school fields. And I've had a history with Moscow Lighting because of my previous connections. Have you had any conversation with Moscow as to how would we be able to go out to bid and get 3 qualified bids from at least 2 other providers so that they're not automatically given the job? Because that remains a concern, and we certainly don't want to circumvent any, unless there is a legal way to...
Musco's on state contract, so you wouldn't
So what
have
does that
to...
mean in English?
You don't have to go out to bid.
Thank you.
They've already bid, they're on state contract. You
Okay,
can
but
use whoever you
then,
want.
do I have to accept their price?
Yes. Yeah, if they're on state contract.
State
Or you
contract.
can go out and bid yourself.
So we still have the option of finding someone else
You can
who
bid...
could come in at a lower...
If a company's
I
on...
mean,
Yes, if a
Ideally speaking.
If a company's on state contract, you don't need to go out to bid. They've already been approved by the state. They've done their bidding, and the state has put them on the approved list. If you don't like their quote, then you can go out and do the bidding.
We'd probably have to pay $20,000 or $30,000 to a consultant to do a design and
Yeah.
I know, and certainly I'm not going to take everyone's time debating that issue because we've
Do you have an
been through
issue with Musco? With their...
No, I don't have an issue. I have an issue with making sure that we're getting, if I'm going to go out and fight to get this thing done, I want to make sure I'm getting the best price I could find. It's not that if I start investing my own time and looking into alternates, I come up with a price that's 50, 60, 75,000 less. So I certainly would like to have eventually a meeting with the Moscow representative so he can look at us and tell us what I just said is my concerns. I mean, KBG, Jesus, 20 years ago I was coaching Blackhawks on that field, and God only knows the games we played to get an advantage of where there was less light versus more light. So now that the issue seems to be a recurring issue, maybe it's time we really need to deal with it in a very serious way with the intent of resolving it and not just pushing it forward to the next year.
I mean, Bobby and Jim just went down and turned on the lights just to see what went on, and 2 were out?
There's 13
Right.
now.
13 out.
Which brings me to the
Last year, so you never know when you're going to turn them on.
the last request. Can Moscow take their cost and apply all the projected savings to it so that we see on a sheet of paper how that cost will be mitigated by the built-in savings of putting in a new system? So that then we could understand what the real cost of the system is. Because yeah, it's $325,000, but you went through a whole list, and I need this for the entire council.
You have it.
You have it? It's in
No,
here?
I
Okay.
don't believe you have
I
that.
think it was
It
for
was-
the-
Last year and did the presentation.
Well, last
Yes,
year,
last
yeah.
year, Musco
Last year, Bob Zoller
Maybe
did
we
a
have to last year.
presentation, but that was part of his packet, and that's how he determined the $157,000 cost savings.
Because I remember seeing that.
And it's hypothetical, you know, it basically is hypothetical based on a typical old-fashioned type of lighting versus the green system that Musco.
Well, I'm sure they're presenting us with the best-case scenario. I mean,
I would think so. I would think so. I mean, it is...
When there was an opportunity, I'm sure they'll
Right.
present us with...
Honestly, if he would like Mr. Zoller to come and make another presentation, I know he would be happy to do so. We've been dealing with him now for 3 years, so...
I still don't see how the initial cost is mitigated by these savings on a year one, year two. You see what I'm getting at? We're going to pay $325,000 if we go through this. We're going to get a whole bunch of savings. But what do those savings do to decrease the initial cost of the system? Because otherwise, if we apply... The system is going to last 20 years, 25 years. If we apply all the savings, then... And one could say we're not paying for the system because the savings that we're going to get from installing the system, well, actually the system will pay itself off than if we do nothing. Aside from consideration from the health, safety, and welfare of us, the public.
Well, I think that's their point, because it costs so much to get a crane in there and
Yes,
replace
but-
the bulb. It costs so much to... Every bulb is like a ton of money. I mean, the efficiency with this system is...
I understand. Maybe
superior.
I'm thick here. I need
Maybe
to
we say in
see...
Italian.
It wouldn't help you because you wouldn't even know where to start. I need to see what is the real cost. And if we're going to make a statement that if we take the hit and install the lighting system as soon as we can, I want the people to understand that the sooner we do it, the more money we save. And that eventually a new system will pay itself off, which is what I believe is being presented here, maybe in a different light, no pun intended. That's all. I love Moscow. If we could reassure ourselves that they're giving us the best bang for the bucks, I'll even talk to them, I'll have a public meeting, eye to eye, and then we'll see where we go. That's all.
That's fine. I mean, if you would like Mr. Zoller to come to a meeting, I know he would be more than happy to do so.
That's a decision
And that's
of us, so...
Let me know.
He's on standby, I know, so... He's on standby, I'm sure, so when we reach that point, if we reach that point, we'll... That's all. Thank you.
Any other questions?
I have a question or a comment regarding the horseshoe pits.
Oh, yeah, you handled that, the bocce ball.
No. All I'm saying is that right now, even though the horseshoe pits I know are not used, I know that they're probably, in disrepair. It's still an active versus a passive part of the park, right? The proposal is to change that whole area into passive recreation. Can the Recreation Commission consider keeping that as active recreation, either by, I don't know, come up with other ideas, volleyball or bocce or something that maintains the character of that area as active recreation? But I see that we have, if we keep making everything passive recreation, then we're losing out on a lot of recreational opportunities.
We certainly can look into it.
I mean, to me, from being in the park all the time, it is a passive area, because I think there's only one barbecue I think I ever see anybody ever even using bocce. Otherwise, really, you just see people sitting on the benches or walking their dogs, or kids are riding their bikes through the pathway.
Well, we don't have bocce.
Well,
I think she meant horseshoe.
You meant the horseshoe pit.
Oh, the horseshoe pit, sorry.
We don't have bocce.
Bocce.
We don't have volleyball, right? We don't have like a, if there was like a sand area for a volleyball or a...
There's a place down in KVG, right by the rifle pit, pistol range rather, for a volleyball, sand volleyball, beach volleyball. We've looked into that, possibly doing that. Of course, it floods. We have a problem with the flooding, but
Yeah.
that area that you're speaking of is too small for volleyball as far as the horseshoe pits are concerned. And to be very honest with you, they're not used. They're a maintenance nightmare because they hold water. There's concrete involved in there, so it's a unused area. So we'd really like to use it by bringing in. I know we do need an area for these 3 people who have asked for the memorial benches as well, and we thought that would be a perfect segue into the existing garden area. But we can look into the beach volleyball, definitely down at KBG, as far as an active area.
Just figure out some other active recreational use for that for that little area that should be active now, but nobody plays
Well, we
horseshoes
can take a
anymore.
look at something else that could be behind the benches in the area, the open area where we're going to put the planting, possibly put something back there, see what we could do.
All right.
Foursquare or
I
something.
just had one other comment. As you go to get quotes for some of this work, if you could consider other local businesses that might do the same thing.
Sure.
We see the same businesses coming up, and perhaps they are the best, but there's a lot of businesses in town that do the same work.
Mhm.
So if you would consider getting
Yeah, we
quotes
would.
from other local
Yeah,
businesses.
basically, we always go out for 3 quotes. It's our standard procedure, so
Mhm.
we would not...
We're just trying to keep things locally.
Sure. Yep.
All right, and I want to thank all the members of the Recreation Commission for coming down tonight.
Okay, thank you for your time. Appreciate it.
Who's up next? There was a hands. Michelle? Karen?
Mayor, I don't know if Michelle needs anything duplicated for the council. Do you need something duplicated?
Thanks. Mayor, it's a quick question for Alan. Is this the allocation from last year that's on this front page?
Yes, on the horizontal form, starting at the left, that's your remaining allocation, subject to a couple of corrections on some purchase
What
orders.
was the total allocation then from
It was in the same neighborhood of about $140 some odd thousand. You're down to $51,008.92. And the middle chart is what's left from 2 years ago. And the allocation this year is $143,426.18 based on the 2013 apportionment. So I still have to wait for the new net value number, but
But we're looking at about 140,000.
143,426.18 is what I'm estimating right now.
Thank you.
All right, let us have your names, please.
Michelle Caridi,
Karen Santella.
The Beautification Committee first would like to thank the council for the money that we received last year. It was $1,500 for the year 2013. We used it wisely, and we thank you for it. For 2014, I would like to request $3,000 from the 2014 open space account for the following purchases or purposes. Purchase of annuals and perennials to use at the library, 140 Pinnacomack Road. The cultural center is actually a mistake. I should not have put in cultural center. Okay, you can't use open space in that particular area. Number 2, purchase of new soil and amendments for the shade side of the library. Amendments would include, but not be limited to, fertilizer, peat moss, bone meal, etc. I just want to make note that the Beautification Committee has not requested capital funds for the past 5 years, and open space is our only source of funding from the borough. And that's just $3,000.
Can you tell us about some of your projects that you've had this past year, 2013?
Okay. At the library, we put in a new rock garden. I don't know if anybody saw it. It's on the right-hand side of the walkway walking in. We've gotten many compliments to it. It was a lot of work, but it was well worth it. And I have to say, Karen was the real go-to putting person on that one. We have perennials. We planted over 1,200 bulbs throughout the entire town. A lot actually in front of Borough Hall here, the library, in our rock garden as well. We the rock garden was at the library. We also did the front of Borough Hall here, but that was with our own money, our trust other money. That we planted all perennials. We will be planting annuals. We planted over 250 daffodil bulbs in the front and on the side. By the steel beam in the spring, you will see there'll be a succession of color from daffodils to the other ones, crocuses, different flowers that will bloom in the spring that will give you a succession of color throughout the season. Otherwise, we just attend to our gardens. We have to clean them. We take care of the library, which is quite extensive. We always, when we're there at the garden, at the library, we seem to always have people that tell us what beautiful job we do, and that makes our job worthwhile. It really does. And that's it. That's all we do.
All right, I know you're forgetting a lot of things because you helped with the tree farm, maintaining the seedlings and helping to plant them.
Right.
So I know that you also began work in the front of the Borough Hall during the year, and the entranceway to the Borough Hall looked absolutely magnificent for the season. So I want to thank. And then did you also get the new lights for the holiday tree?
Oh, right. Oh, that's right.
You're just forgetting. You're forgetting all the great stuff you did. I have to remind you.
Just too many things I can't think. Very good.
Okay. Any questions for beautification? All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Great job. Great job.
Thank you. Here.
9/11.
Well, I don't know if everyone has the submission.
They do. It's in their package.
My name is Jim Conway. I'm treasurer of the 9/11 Memorial Garden Committee. We've been active since 2005, and the council and the mayor have always been very supportive of our efforts, and we thank them for that. On behalf of the committee this year, we're requesting $7,000, which goes towards the continued maintenance of the grounds, as well as a couple of special projects. Specifically, we need pea gravel from time to time. It's been several years now since we've had to replenish that, but it does need to be replenished from time to time. That's it sort of spreads out and buries itself after a while. The second item we need additionally this year is some replantings and some pruning backs. Our garden area itself is becoming more mature now, finally establishing itself, and there are some things that need to be moved and changed around there to make it, to keep the integrity of the garden in the way that we had envisioned it, and that can cost some additional money. We also do plantings before 9/11 of the mums each September, and that's also part of our budget. We also are looking at an additional sign out near the street, which is something we probably have to go through the borough for permission for, to actually indicate that that is the 9/11 garden right there. If you're not walking and looking at that stone that we do have there, which very clearly marks it out, if you're driving past it and don't know that it's there, you don't know it's there. So I think we've talked about having some signage, a sign out by the street, akin to a sign like a no parking type sign, that type of size, to mark that out as the site of the garden. So that's something that we would need to fund as well. We've always looked at this as a partnership in conjunction with the town, so all this is not being funded totally by the town. There's also funds that we have and do provide each year, and have for the last 9 years, to making sure that this garden is maintained in a fashion that is proud for everybody, the families, as well as all the members of the community. So we thank you for your past support, and we ask you for your continued support.
Mr. Conway, it would help our job if you could provide us, for our final allocation, with some type of breakdown of the $7,000 between the sign and the walkway and the mulch, so that if, we always get more requests than we have funding for. So we sometimes have to take a scalpel to certain things. We hope that we'll be able to fund what you want to do. We might not be able to fund everything, rather than just arbitrarily deciding what the amount would be. If you could break it down,
I'll get something
that would be helpful.
to Alan so that you have that information.
All right, thank you.
You are.
Any questions for Mr. Conway? Thank you.
Thank you.
Shade tree.
I'm Liz Stewart. Jen Dougherty, and we have our Shade Tree Commission members hiding in the back. Okay. And you have our request?
Mhm.
We have it right in front of us.
Okay. So our request for this year is pretty straightforward. It's been the same, pretty similar every single year. Our first request is for $11,095 for tree planting in the parks. Obviously, we've lost several trees over the past few years from storms. Our trees in the parks also are very old, and we've just lost them to old age. We've lost them to salt damage in the arboretums, and then to fertilizer damage this past year. So we are requesting for new trees. Also, John Lynch asked us to plant 5 cypress trees down by the DPWs as a screening behind the ball field. So we'd like to do that for them. And he also wanted us to look at the area. I don't think this is open space, so Alan, by the train track, where the pine trees are, because it's not park area.
Yeah, we have to look at the property line. I think it's on the other side of the roadway, so it may not be park. We might be able to examine
Okay,
that.
we didn't
and see
include that,
what
but
the
we could-
entire park property is. I don't know whether it includes Riverside Way or not, but it's worth exploring.
Okay. And then...
Did he want more pines? Or?
No, we were looking at doing something to make the maintenance easier underneath the pine. So maybe different plantings. The pine, we looked at that, we evaluated them to see if anything needed to be removed, and they don't. So he was trying to look for maintenance, easier maintenance.
All right.
So we can look at that for next year too and plan during the year. And then Brookside, we have not planted in Brookside in a few years actually. Probably since Recreation did the entranceway. I don't think we've planted any trees in that area. So that's our request for the trees. And then 3 plaques for the Arboretum. We planted 3 new trees in the Arboretum this year. So we'd like to get plaques for them. We have plaques in the Arboretum with the name of the trees for an educational walk. We mulch the Arboretum. We have a contractor do that. We have 51 trees, so that total is $50,850, where they cut a large enough bed around the trees so that DPW has room to mow around it. Gypsum, $200 total for gypsum, which is a product that we use to put around the trees after the winter for the salt damage. And we've been doing it for 2 years now, and we're seeing that we're not really losing as many trees along Continental and within the parks. So that's an easy, quick, that takes us about an hour a year to do. And then arbor guards, we have not purchased for the parks in years. They're the plastic protectors, so we needed those also. And that's our total. So our total is $13,645.
How much you have $500 for arbor guards, but you don't have a number?
Of arbor guards? That's for 50 arbor guards.
So they're $10 a piece?
They're about, yeah.
They just go on the less mature trees?
Correct. Anything usually under 10 inches. We do it, so when we double them, we do a double. And that also then, when DPW for their maintenance, it just makes it easier for them also. And these are trees that are not mulched. So the mulched trees do not get arbor guards, but the ones within the park that don't get a mulch bedding around them.
What's the purpose of the guard?
It keeps the weed whacker damage. So if you put them around here, it keeps the weed whacker from girdling the bottom.
Got it. All right. Questions for Shade Tree?
Can I make a comment, since we're all here? We've been requesting for a year or two in this, because everyone does such great work in town, but there are a lot of overlapping interests. And I know our group would love to have a 5-year plan. If someone's doing a project and they need plantings and you need a sign, if we have a sign in the Arboretum, you might want to think about that in a long-term goal and match it with a 9/11 sign. We might want to match something to another project. And just having a 5-year plan, I think would make it easier for us to come up with a budget, because we're always trying to think of what other groups are doing without really knowing. And I know we all have meetings, but it's hard, we're volunteers, it's hard to get to everyone's meetings, and it would be nice to just have a group somehow. I don't know if it has to be a public meeting because we'll have more than a certain amount of members at a meeting, but maybe that could be arranged.
I really don't know what you're asking.
To create a 5-year
Coordinate
plan
with
for
other
open
groups
space.
so that everybody is on the same page and they're not overlapping,
Right. Well, I'm just saying.
Right, to coordinate a 5-year plan
Yeah.
for open space with everyone who's involved. Everyone here has ideas of what they'd like the money used for. You can give us your ideas. We can incorporate your plans into our ideas. We can coordinate all of our plans together. And DPW isn't even here, so we don't even know.
There are certain issues that arise, every year, new things that come up that may not be incorporated into a 5-year plan. So suppose the Historic Commission next year came up with something, an idea that they would like to incorporate. Would they be shut out because there's a 5-year plan that's set in stone now?
No, we
But
have a
not that-
5-year
no, anything could be amended,
No, we have a
probably, right?
5-year plan with the state, but it gives our intentions of what we'd
Yeah.
like to see done. We don't always meet those goals, and after 5 years, we reevaluate and said, this is overextending, we're not thinking this anymore, we'd like to do this and that, and we change it, but at least it gives some kind of a vision. And I think everyone does such great work in town. We have all these volunteers doing this work. It'd be nice to have a vision with all of us included. I think it'd be a good thing, like a powerful thing. But we've just been talking about that as a group, and we figured since everybody's here, you could think about that and see if it's something you'd like to do.
Well, you guys are here now, if you want to...
Well, I think it's up to the mayor and council.
It's really not up to us.
Well-
If you want to put together a 5-year plan so that open space trust fund issues get coordinated with all the groups, that would be great. That would be great. But I think it's something that all the groups, we're not. I don't think the council is going to impose that on everybody. It's something like you said. They're all volunteers. If you want to do a 5-year plan to assist us, it would be wonderful. Yeah.
I have a question about, you'll also plant in Brookside and KBG. Are those going to be replacement trees, new trees, new locations? The reason I ask is I back up to Brookside, and I've lived there for 15 years, and I've seen that park and its use change over those 15 years, and I would caution against planting trees necessarily in the same spots where they are now or replacing them, because that park, the use has changed in the last 15 years that I've been there, and some of the trees haven't really been doing very well, and a lot of it has to do with how the park's being used.
Right, okay.
So I would just put a word of caution that there's a tree right in my sight line out my kitchen window that the kids now play baseball around, and it's taken a lot of beating. So I would just, a word of caution that perhaps there's kind of like a needs assessment of how that park's being used and where the trees would go.
The other thing is we see in the parks we're adding more and more equipment for recreational use, and we're losing a lot of our planting area. So as we lose trees, all of a sudden we put in a concrete area and we can't plant. So again, that's something we think about too. We want to balance it.
I certainly am not suggesting that. I'm just suggesting like a kind of a usage assessment based on because you said you haven't planted there in several years, so usage has changed a little bit. Just
Yeah,
through
we
my
try to
observation.
balance it. It's tough for us. Our planting options are limited. We have a guy in the park who needs his view from his house to the ball field. We can't block that. We have another one that's flooded. We have new playground equipment that we can't plant around because regulations say that we can't plant a tree that's going to grow too tall to fall in that area. So we have a lot of restrictions. So yes, we will take that into consideration. Great.
Give us a kind of report on your 2013 activities or assessment? How many trees did we lose? Only if you have these numbers, you can give us an...
We didn't have any major storms.
How many trees did you plant?
Yeah, we planted 107 trees. So
Total.
58 trees were funded from the remaining of the bond ordinance that we had. And then we planted the remaining from open space as well as from our trust other account. So we are getting funds in from our new ordinance, which is helping. We have maybe 15 active construction bonds going right now, which is great. The system is working wonderful. Nicole's been really good with that, and the contractors have been cooperating. It's been working really well.
Just had a question. We were discussing something last night about the planting of the trees, and it was brought up that you guys finished planting at the end of November, right?
December. Really.
December, you said December.
Well, no, it was the day after Thanksgiving. It was November this year.
Right?
Last year was December.
It was not in December, right?
No, it was the last day we planted.
Because somebody was like, I saw them in December
Last
planting
year
a
was
tree.
December. Last year was December. This year, last day we planted was the Friday after Thanksgiving. They have to wait at the nursery for the first frost to dig the trees out of the ground. And once the first frost comes, so we never know what the timing. Then we have to coordinate with the contractor to be for his timeline.
So it's okay December?
Yeah, because they're dormant.
Okay.
That's the best, actually, it's the best time to plant the trees. Yeah. We have a high success rate planting in the fall. We agree.
There was this debate going on about...
The debate where?
The timing of it, like, you can't, aren't you not supposed to plant after a certain time and blah, blah,
It is
blah.
the best time. Yeah, it's the best time to plant. We've had a good success rate with that planting time, too.
Anything? All right, thank you.
No. Thank you.
All right, we want to thank all members of the Shade Tree Commission for appearing.
Mayor, there is a request from the Department of Public Works in your packet also for $9,500 for maintenance of the parks, for grass seed, chemicals, mowers, trimmers, etc. That's sort of a traditional one. Okay. And it was mentioned during our capital review of a fence at 140 Kennecott Road for $8,600. So totaling all of those items, including another $36,000 for the lighting, and I put $26,000 for Cherry Blossom Park for a match. I'd have to check that out though to see whether that's the correct amount. Your total is about $163,391. All right. So we'll list this for another work session for discussion purposes.
Now, there was a request from the Historic Commission for, that's in our capital budget?
Yes.
Okay, it's in capital. It's not in open space.
Mayor, before we move on, Alan, I'm confused how you're getting 163, so could you help me with that?
Sure.
I think beautification said 3.
If you don't mind, I'll go down my list.
Yeah, absolutely.
Shade Tree Commission, $13,645.
Yes.
Recreation, $59,283.
Yes.
9/11, $7,000.
Yes.
DPW, $9,500.
Yes.
The lighting, $36,363.
We're...
That's the 1/5 of the lighting.
Oh, I get what you're doing now. So
Okay.
what are you doing with the lighting?
Well,
How much?
Yeah, we were on a 5-year plan, I think.
Yeah.
Right?
So how
last
much-
year, $36,363.
That's if we took it out of...
That's what you did last year.
Yeah, that's if we take it out of open space.
Cherry Blossom Park, the match, I believe, is $26,000.
Okay.
$3,000 for beautification and $8,600 for the fence at 140. Should give you $163,391.
And the 86 is that fence, that part up.
All right, does anyone in the audience, because there might be people in the audience that know about the fence at 140 Kennecott Road?
I apologize, that's the address of the property, the mohair. The Department of Public Works reported that the fence that borders the residential area is in disrepair. Right, behind the pine trees.
Behind the pine trees. And the homeowner wants it replaced, and the borough initially put that fence up. And it's like 9,000.
Yes,
Yeah,
gorgeous. It's in our red book.
Well, there's a debate on whether we should pay for it at all. We don't provide fence to anyone, anywhere. Also, the borough chose to do this back when they bought the property, but that in no way obligates us today, and we don't, that's right, and there's no fence that we provide anywhere else. So why is the borough going to be providing a fence for 140 Kincomac and not for anybody off of Brookside or Memorial or, anything like that? So there's a debate about whether... Yeah.
The fence, the shrubs were so low that the fence is really the buffer. Now you don't even know there's a fence back there, because of how high the shrubs are.
All right, thank you. What is, can I have a motion to close the public hearing on the open space allocation?
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, we have liaison reports. Councilwoman Murphy, Shade Tree Commission, Library, Environmental Commission, Green Team, Shared Services.
The only thing I'm going to report on tonight is the finalization of the Green Team grant, which I have to speak to you after the meeting. Bonnie Stewart has completed that, and we're waiting for your signature, and then it's ready to go.
Mayor, if I can interrupt.
Yes.
I signed the application on Friday, and Denise emailed it in, and we received an acknowledgement that the application has been received.
So you sent it with that resolution and everything? Okay, good. Because she was kind of harried about who we could sign it, and...
We researched it, and I signed the last one, so I signed this one also.
Okay. So that's in, they got it?
They got it, they acknowledged they got it.
And I've also spoken to New Milford members about starting their green team, so we'll be setting a meeting up in the near future with them. And that is all I have for tonight.
Very good. Councilman, well, this is, I'm afraid of, but we're going to do Capola, because he's next in line. Rec Commission, Senior Citizens, Beautification, Special Events.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. I did meet with Rec, and our last meeting we discussed some of what we discussed tonight about open space funding, Cherry Blossom Park project. Also, we picked the colors for the River Edge Run T-shirt. And
Tell us, what's the color?
Yeah.
Can't tell us?
I'll say it in Italian. Sono no. Well, I'm sworn to secrecy, I guess. Moving on, where were we? Little League field renovation. And we spoke about the fee ordinance, maybe bumping it up, possibly, for use of public spaces. And on March 9th, trip down to Sands, or over to Sands in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. Bus trip over there, and also other field trips that were kind of thrown around, maybe going to places in the city for Broadway or whatnot, so trying to come up with other ideas to do other events or open them to public that are out of the box, not typical what people would do. You can only go to Sands so much, and then it starts to hurt.
I don't think so. I think you're wrong about that.
And that's it.
Thank you. Councilwoman Bastide, Senior Citizens, Co-Liaison, Historic Commission, Traffic and Safety, Special Events.
Thank you, Mayor. Our Historic Commission meeting was canceled or postponed due to weather, and special events is tomorrow evening. Traffic and Safety, we didn't have a meeting scheduled until May. However, I felt that we should do so we are going to meet at the end of February, and Rob Costa is going to join us, and we're going to address a couple of things, two being the impact to traffic, as we may or may not know it, with the opening of Newbridge Crossing, with Total Wine taking its new location, try to understand what's going to be happening down there, and some new pedestrian safety things we're working on with the county to kind of move those forward on Kinderconnect Road. So I'll be able to report after that meeting in February. Thank you.
All right. Anything else?
No.
Councilman Mignon, DPW, Zoning Committee, Redevelopment, Co-Liaison, and New Milford Orville Shared Services.
I'm just going to report I attended the reorganization meeting of the zoning board. Rob Schlossberg was elected chairman, Gary Esposito vice chairman, and Al Roman was reelected as secretary of the board. As you saw tonight, Michelle Austin was reappointed the board attorney. And I reported earlier at the work session about the conversation I had with Mr. Skirbis that night regarding the fence ordinance, so that came out of that liaisonship. So, Mayor, that was probably a good idea to create that position. So.
All right, thank you. Councilman Acquafreda, Construction Code, Property Maintenance, Planning Board, Riverdale Schools.
Okay. Certainly looking forward to establishing a rapport with Mr. DeRosa, maybe on a monthly basis, so we can learn a little bit more in detail what he goes through every month and report back to the council the relevant points of our discussion. And perhaps do the same with Bob Byrne, our code official. I attended the reorg meeting of the planning board. Kevin Dewar was re-elected as chair. David Glass was elected as vice chair, and Jim Arakalian as the secretary. And Art Nees was reconfirmed as the zoning board attorney, Bob Costa the engineer, and Brigitte as the planner. Parenthetically, the work session has been canceled for lack of applications. That would have been the meeting of this Thursday. I also attended the reorg meeting at the Riverdale School District on January 6th. Mr. Anthony Barbary, who's part of our Citizen Budget Committee, and Mr. Joe Manzelli were sworn in to Anthony to a one-year term. He has to fulfill my unexpired term. Joe Manzelli to a 3-year term. And then Joe Manzelli was elected president of the Board of Education. And Alan Fagenson, who was also from Oradell, who was sworn in to a 3-year term, was elected as the vice president of that board. The Riverdale Board of Education has settled the contract with the administrators. However, the same cannot be said with the teachers, and they are now in mediation stage with a PERC representative and all. Unfortunately, they're at that stage. I also attended the reorg meeting for the River Edge School Board, and that one was held at the Roosevelt School on January 8th. And Paris Meyer was sworn into a new 3-year term, and so was Anthony DeBella, which kind of made me wonder. I mean, I signed Anthony's high school diploma, so kind of little hints here and there, Mayor. I don't know. But at any rate, Paris was elected president of the board. I believe Shelley, vice president. I'm going by memory now. And there is a reaffirmation of their involvement with the infusion of technology within the grammar school years, which will then go hand in hand with what Riverdale School has been doing for the past 5 or 6 years. So I plan to attend meetings that are not in conflict with this one, and we move on. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilman Papaleo, police, fire prevention, River Edge Alliance Against Alcohol and Drugs.
Thank you, Mayor. I've had several conversations and contacts with the police chief. We've had conversations about philosophy and how the department's running. We've had conversations surrounding our weather-related emergencies in town. They've all been very fruitful. I'm grateful to the chief. I have a 2-hour meeting set up with him this week where we'll continue those conversations. I've reached out to the heads of the PBA. I've had some preliminary conversations with them. I look forward to a sit-down meeting. So it's been very, very fruitful, and but nothing to report to the council specifically. Fire department. Councilman Mignon and I met with the fire chief and assistant chief and the superintendent of Public Works, and we talked about the fleet and capital requests and the overall condition of the equipment. Again, a nice 2-hour meeting. It was very useful. I have also been in frequent contact with the chiefs of the fire department in regards to our weather emergencies. The chief, of course, most of us were present, who were able to be present for the Chief Creedy's swearing in. That was well attended and an excellent experience, I think, for all. And that's all that I have to report for these several weeks in January.
Thank you. And the River Edge Volunteer Ambulance Service report. In 2013, the Ambulance Corps responded to 606 calls. There were 2 CPR saves throughout the year. All the members and officers will be honored at a dinner on February the 7th, 2014. I hope as many members of the council can join us at that meeting, which is always a good time, and we've had very good attendance in the last couple of years from the governing body. On January 23rd, 2014, 3 new students graduated from the EMS Academy. The Ambulance Corps did receive 2 carbon monoxide detectors from the county through grants, and they will be included in the rigs. There have been meetings regularly between Rivas and the county regarding Super Bowl Sunday. They will be on alert throughout the weekend. There are many events that will be going on in the area. The county has requested that any injuries related to the Super Bowl be reported to them. They indicate that there will be over 500 planes, additional air traffic coming into Teterboro Airport for the Super Bowl, and that the planes are not allowed to leave at the end of the game. All those flights will be taking off on Monday, February the 3rd. I'd like to remind everybody to donate if they can to the River Edge Volunteer Ambulance Service, and if they know of any members of the public who would wish to serve, they can contact Donna Sanders, the captain. We have ordinances on for first reading. Madam Clerk, could you read the title of Ordinance 1798?
This is Ordinance 1798, an ordinance authorizing emergency appropriation, NJSA 40:4-53. This is for the complication of our ordinances, Mayor.
Can I have a motion to introduce that on first reading?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed, any abstained? Thank you. We have an ordinance on for second reading, Ordinance 1795. Madam Clerk, could you read the title?
An ordinance to fix the salary, wage, and compensation of officers and employees of the Borough of River Edge in the County of Bergen, State of New Jersey, for the year 2014. Mary, this is for the DPW Public Works.
All right, this is the Public Works salary ordinance. Can I have
So moved.
a motion to open a public hearing on ordinance number 1795? There's a motion by Councilwoman Murphy. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, would any member of the public like to speak on ordinance number 1795 regarding the salary of Public Works employees? Seeing no one, can I have a motion to close the public hearing?
So moved.
There a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Can I have a motion to adopt ordinance number 1795 on final reading?
So moved.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed, any abstained? Thank you. Ordinance number 1796. Can I have the clerk read the title?
An ordinance to fix the salary, wage, and compensation of officers and employees of the Borough of River Edge in the County of Bergen and State of New Jersey for the year 2014. Mary, this is for the police department.
All right. This is the Police Department 2014 salary ordinance. We have to open for a public hearing. Can I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed, any abstained? All right, the hearing is open to the public on ordinance number 1796 regarding police department salaries for this year. Does anyone wish to make a statement or a comment or ask a question? Can I have a motion to close the hearing to the public?
So moved.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor to close the hearing?
Aye.
All right, can I have a motion for the final adoption of ordinance number 1796?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed, any abstained? Thank you. Ordinance number 1797, on for a second hearing. Madam Clerk, can you read the title?
In order to fix the salary, wage, and compensation of the officers and employees of the Borough of Riverhead, in the County of Bergen, the State of New Jersey, for the year 2014, this mayor is for the non-contractual employees.
All right. Again, this is a salary ordinance for 2014 for non-contractual employees. We have to have a public hearing. Can I have a motion to open to the public?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed, any abstained? The hearing is open to the public. Would any member of the public wish to speak on this ordinance? Seeing no one, can I have a motion to close the hearing to the
So
public?
moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Can I have a motion for final adoption?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, very good. We have resolutions by consent, 14-63 on the agenda, up to and including the payment of bills, 14-97. Would any member of the governing body wish to pull out for separate vote or consideration any resolution on the agenda? Okay. Can I have a motion to adopt by consent resolutions 14-63 up to and including 14-78?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed and abstained? Can our finance chair read and introduce resolution 14-79, the payment of bills?
Thank you, Mayor. Whereas vouchers for the payment of goods and services rendered to the Borough of River Edge have been received, and whereas each bill has been checked by the receiving department, approved by the Chief Financial Officer and Borough Clerk, and reviewed by the 3 members of the Finance Committee. Now therefore be it resolved that bills as listed now be confirmed for payment from the appropriate funds as follows. Current account, $157,327.45. Capital account, $8,695.77. Recreation account, $3,313.07. Trust Others Developers account, $14,953.75. Trust Other account, $745.96. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, I'd like to open the hearing to the public on any issue.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, the hearing is open to the public to speak on any issue. Would anyone wish to make a statement, ask a question, have a comment? Can I have a motion to close the public hearing?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Can I have a motion to adjourn the 8 o'clock meeting and go back into the work session?
So moved.
All in, second? Ed?
Second.
Second it?
No comments, though, Mayor. Want to do council comments?
I wanted to make a few
Yeah, I wanted
comments
to
too.
make
You want to make council comments before we go back in work session?
Yes, please.
All right, council comments. Let's begin with Councilman Papaleo. I don't know why, but...
Okay.
Just to check it.
I'd like to be brief when I can. So I'd just like to compliment the outstanding job our volunteer firefighters did, our OEM, Tom Smith, and Stu. And I also like to compliment the great job our police department did and our police auxiliaries. I think whenever we're in need, our River Edge services and volunteers are there, and I'm proud of them, and I just wanted to publicly acknowledge them. Thank you.
Councilman Acquafredo.
Mr. Mayor, I have no comment. I think I've said enough tonight. Thank you.
Councilman Mignone.
Just briefly going to just wish Sergeant Faustini best of health and best of luck in his retirement.
Councilwoman Bastide.
Thank you, Mayor. I would just like to acknowledge the senior Webelos from River Edge who competed in the Three Rivers District Klondike Derby on Saturday. They did extremely well. Pack 229, they had 2 dens, Den A placed second in the sled race, Den B third overall, and then Pac 95, I have to disclose, my son is on that sled, third in the sled race and first overall. So they placed beautifully well and represented River Edge very well. They worked very, very well as a team. We should be proud of them. And I'd like to suggest that the governing body offer a proclamation to Pac 95 for their effort and invite them to come and receive that at a future meeting.
Here, here. We'll give that proclamation. If you could just give Denise some appropriate wording for it,
Be
that'd be
happy
great.
to. Thank you.
Councilman Coppola.
No comments, thank you, Mayor.
Councilwoman Murphy.
Okay, this is going to be all over the place because I just was writing as I was thinking. So first, I'd like to congratulate Mr. DeRosa for the Corrado's wine event.
Oh, who told you?
Word got around. And to Mayor Moscartola as well.
I say that too. What a night.
Congratulations. I'd like to thank Optimum Orthopedics for hosting the open house this past Thursday. They had a good turnout. They had food from all local businesses, which was appreciated that they kept it local. And they have a fabulous facility, so anybody that needs that should go in there. We also had Cory Booker come into River Edge the other day, and that was good to meet Cory Booker. Congratulations to Taste of Greece. They hosted Cameron Diaz. She stopped in there couple weeks ago. She put a photograph of herself and the staff there on her Instagram account and Twitter, and now it's all the rage, Taste of Greece. Probably can't get in there anymore.
Taste of Greece.
Taste of Greece. I'd like to acknowledge the DPW for their great job with the snow removal. I got many, many emails complimenting the job that they did. I got emails from people that don't even live in town that wanted to compliment them because they came through River Edge and every other surrounding town had bad roads. Mr. DeRosa, thank you for the property maintenance. Hopefully one day we can see garbage cans up on the Angel Market, 4 of them.
Try it. I got them inside right now.
One day we'll get them outside. And I would hope that we could have a proclamation for Denise for all of her service and everything else. I'm going to still vote no, but...
Denise, would you write yourself a proclamation? That's all night.
And that's it.
All right. I also have to thank Artie DeRosa. We both entered our homemade wines into the Corrado's 15th annual wine contest. There were 800 wines in the contest. There were about 1,500 people at the Venetian. Artie won Best in Show Red, which is quite a feat with the 800 wines in the contest.
Wow.
So
I feel parched.
maybe I'm going to get a bottle. I don't know.
It was really good, and there's not really anything left.
That's the thing. I'm already getting requests about the Newbridge Landing Wine Festival. I was contacted by Mr. DeMiglio from Sanducci's, who wants to put it in his, he wants to schedule the event, but we don't have a date yet, so when I next attend the Historic Newbridge Landing Park Commission meeting, I will try to get a date for a second annual wine festival. Maybe we'll have another mayor's wine contest there. Who knows? I would like to advise members of the public that Councilwoman Bastide, Councilwoman Mignon, myself, and our borough engineer went and spoke to the county engineers regarding traffic improvements, pedestrian and bicycle improvements to the Kinder-Camac Road corridor. I think the meeting was, I think I was optimistic when I left the meetings that we will get some action on moving forward on reducing the speed limit on Kinder-Camac Road, getting additional pedestrian improvements, getting some additional lane markings and painted islands. We are going to follow up with the Traffic and Safety Committee on meeting with New Jersey Transit and PSC&G on bus stop issues that we have in town. where there are some bus stops that can be improved because either they don't disembark passengers on sidewalks because there aren't any sidewalks, or they stop in areas that are dark and there's not sufficient lighting. So we have to address those things going forward. Finally, I want to thank the DPW for the great job they did. I received many emails also. I think in the next edition of the Town News, there'll be a very positive article regarding the work that our DPW does in regard to snow removal. In addition to the fine job done by our OEM coordinator, Tom Smith, and our police and fire and ambulance. All right, so those are my comments. Now can I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, thank you. All right, can I have a motion to go back into the work session?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.